I'm not trying to brag on myself none, but most of the guys were really scared of me,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Just like Brian Blair told a lie one time about the fight with me and Paul Orndoff. It was not a fight. Paul Orndoff was riding with somebody, him and Brian Blair. They was riding with somebody. They left them at the building. Me and Tommy Rich were riding together. They left them at the building. They was healed. They weren't even supposed to be in the car with us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to give them a ride from Dayton, Ohio to Columbus, Ohio. So we pulled around the corner. They jump in the back seat. So Paul, as soon as he got in the car, he said, "What is that fucking smell?" I said, "That my barbecue ribs." Because me and Tom, we stopped at this barbecue place. Because most times we get out, the matches during them, they started at 8, they was over by 10. So at 10 o'clock, most of the good food places were closed. And the only place to get food was like 7-Eleven, hot dog, slice of pizza or something. I couldn't eat that junk. Mm-hmm. So I got me some barbecue ribs and I had me a tomato and a cucumber that I was going to cut up to make myself a salad. I used to carry my own special made salad dressing with me. And I ate meat and veggies. That's all I ate. That's why I looked like. I wouldn't eat like pasta or bread. I ate fruit, veggie, and meat. That was my whole diet. So Paul said, "I'm going to throw it out the window." Well, I'm just a joke with Paul. I didn't know he was in a piss poor mood. So I said, "If you throw my ribs out, as good as them ribs are, I'm going to throw you out with them." Paul said, "You think you can throw me out?" I said, "Yeah, I'll throw you out, Paul." And I thought, out of good humor, I wasn't even thinking about fighting nobody. So he kept hitting the back of the seat. "Pull over. Pull the fuck over. Pull the fuck over." So Tommy Rich finally pulled over. Paul jumped out of the back seat, ran around to the passenger door. I opened my door. Paul tried to sucker punch me. I was an amateur wrestler. So I was double leg diving. I don't know if you know what this movie is called, a crater.
Mm-hmm.
What I do, let's say I'm on the right side of you. I put my arm behind you, the back of your head. I reach over, I grab your left leg, and I pull your left leg up to where I could lock it in like this.
Yeah.
And then I take my legs and wrap it around your right leg. It's called a crater in amateur wrestling. All amateur wrestlers know this move. And I held Paul there until he cooled off. And then finally, Tommy said, "Okay, guys, that's enough. That's enough." We broke us up. Me and Paul, we hugged each other. Said, "Man, I'm sorry." I said, "Oh, man, I'm sorry." Didn't think nothing of it. We get in the car. Tommy Rich said, "Tony, you bleeding." Now, we couldn't figure out why I was bleeding. There was no, he missed. He didn't hit me. I didn't hit him. Where the blood come from? So I figured I scraped my elbow or something on a rock or something. So I pulled down the visor. It had a little mirror. And I saw this little earlobe right here was hanging. Thomas, "Oh, hell." He said, "Your earlobe is bitten, Tony." I said, "Oh, shit." And I said, "Paul, you bit my fucking ear?" He said, "Yeah, I was so scared." He said, you took me down so quickly, I didn't know what you were going to do to me while you had me down there." So Paul said, Tommy Rich said, "Tony, you don't want to go through life with that piece of meat hanging." He said, "I'll run by the hospital." He said, "They could stitch that up in no time." So I went to the hospital. They stitched up that little earlobe right here, this little piece here, stitch it up.
There we go.
That little piece. You can't see it because, it's been years since it was done. But anyway, make a long story short, the doctor said, "I got to hold you overnight." I said, "For what?" He said, "Because I gave you a tetanus shot. And we have to check you out for about overnight to see if you have any effect or anything." Mm-hmm. They said, "We do this for all our patients that take a tetanus shot." So I stayed overnight. Well, like wrestling, it's the wrestling business. The next morning, everybody was telling the story. And everybody told it to add something to it. Now, if you ever notice when people talk to Paul, he was always very non-talking about it. Mm-hmm. But me and him was friends, the best of friends. He knew the story, but it made him look good. So he didn't want to erase that. He wanted people to really think that he was, this tough SOB. Mm-hmm. And I'm not knocking him, but fighting Paul Orndoff was like fighting my a 12-year-old girl. He knew nothing. He was a football player. He knew nothing about fighting or wrestling. Nothing. That's why it was so easy for me to take him down. He didn't know how to sprawl. See, with me, you shoot from leg, I sprawl on you. Mm-hmm. And I push down on your head at the same time, and then I spin around behind you. That's what a wrestler do. He didn't know that. So it was so easy. I took him down like, if you ask Tommy Rich, the fight didn't last more than 30 seconds.
Where is Tommy?
But over the years,
Tommy could come in and. Where is Tommy? Is he not here somewhere? He could like stick his head in
he
and
had
say.
to go, he had another show to do. He was there last night. He had another show to do. But I saw they asked Hannibal, the guy in Canada, Hannibal asked Tommy, and Tommy told the truth. Now Brian Blair lied. I asked Brian why he lied. And he said, "Well, you know the business, brother. You have to make it look good." But Brian Blair lied a lot about. I saw him doing the thing. In fact, I cut an interview on Brian Blair too and cursed him out. Told him if he keep doing it, I'm gonna whoop his ass. Cause Paul didn't like that either. Cause Paul was always afraid that I was gonna. In fact, that's why me and Paul never had a good match because of that story. You watch a match of me and Paul Orndoff. I took him, I pressed him over my head like this a couple of times. I set him on the top turnbuckle, and then I patted him on the head. Every time I wrestled Paul, that what they did to me. If Paul was that tough, why he let me do that to him in front of 20,000 people?
I remember. This is obviously it's before I was born when this actually happened. But you and Paul for the WWF, probably for Tuesday Night Titans, you had like a pose down at one point, didn't you?
Now here's a funny thing. You know where he threw that cake in my face?
Go on.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh, really?
When me and Vince Jr. did stuff like that to me, why, I don't know. He always liked to fuck with me. I don't know why. He always had an animosity towards me. He said, we're going to do a pose down. So we did the pose down. Then Paul came out and threw the cake in my face. Because you see how Vince and them jump up to stop me from going after him? Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then Vince go, no, Tony, no, Tony, no. Because I didn't know it was going to happen. I did not know it was going to happen. Another time that Vince pulled a surprise on me was I was doing an interview and Vince wanted me to pose, just posing again. And Hogan came out. I didn't know Hogan was going to come out. When me and Rocky lost the title, I didn't know we were going to lose the title.
Really?
Vince didn't tell me. He told Rocky, but not me. So I asked Rocky later, I said, Rocky, why y'all didn't tell me? He said, because he knew Vince knew you would not go for it.